Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. In today's episode, we're going to be studying a piece by the career multimedia artist known as Mizuri. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at the crystals in our composition. We're also going to explore some abstract scenes of science fiction. So let's jump right into it. And so at first sight, remember this massive crystalline cube set in center space here. Our first impression is awe, but also curiosity as we just wonder on the grand sight before us. There's really no doubt that light is a definitive detail of this display. Of course, the dark background allows that, right? It just possesses this piece with a vivid visual energy, and you're not going to miss it here. In the realm of texture, we see these really unique offerings, right? We have the translucent, but also the rigid on the form of our subject here. We also have kind of the glossy and reflective nature over on the floor there, all of which immerse us so well within the sight before us. And colors within this composition really consist of blue and kind of an orangish red, right? This is what we called a complementary or a near complementary scheme. It's going to draw the eye towards that rare red accent, and of course it is the rarest color, and by nature of that it's just going to elevate its visual impact. I think there's no doubt about that. And so we see our perspective placed in perfect center here, right? We have a symmetrical or near symmetrical scene that is split across a vertical central axis. When we're offered scenes of symmetry, it always gives a high sense of harmony, and it almost feels as if we're just discovering the sight before us here. And with that in mind, what do y'all see when you view this piece? What do you think we're looking at here? There's clearly this crystalline nature that constitutes the form of our cuboid subject. We see this, of course, in the ascendant region of the composition. When we see crystals or glass forms more broadly, we're always offered a sense of charm or magic due to the way that they catalyze light, which of course is quite hard to describe. It feels magical, it feels charmed, but it also feels ethereal in the final analysis there. And so the title of this work is Icebox, no doubt hints at what we're seeing here. Perhaps we're looking at nothing more than a literal box of ice here. And with that in mind, what do y'all think? Of course, I already asked y'all what do you think we're looking at here, but it is quite abstract and it's hard to say exactly what we're looking at. Regardless, we see this massive structure, and within our subject's form, we have these almost mechanistic platings or wiring, if you will, that kind of gives a sense of sci-fi and, of course, an incredible scene at that. It almost feels as if we're looking at a machine or an ascendant artifact of some kind or another. It almost looks as if we've just discovered an alien artifact that finally reveals itself to us. But despite such speculation, we see a very abstract render and a very grand and massive one at that. And due to our work's scale, as well as the kind of tech within our cuboid's form there, as well as the cinematic nature of the work before us, you wouldn't be too far off if you cited this work as science fiction, right? You see, it's incredibly cinematic, it's massive, and it almost looks like it's on another planet. And with that in mind, I want to ask y'all one more time, what do you think we're looking at here? This, of course, is a very abstract render, and we have sense of abstract art. We're typically not left with any symbolism. That, of course, leaves the elevated impact of form, light, texture, so many other things that really make up the work before us here. So really hope y'all enjoyed. This is a stunning scene and a cool composition. I think there's no doubt about that. The original artist was trying to create these kind of Max Hay inspired themes, if you know what I mean there. Max Hay typically creates scenes of science fiction or fantasy, but typically with this grand sense of scale, and I think we certainly see that in the original composition here. Here, for example, he cites Tron, but also some inspiration from Max Hay. He's trying to work with Blender, and of course this is a digital render. I wasn't exactly sure which program it was created in, but I do know it's either going to be Blender or Cinema 4D, really the two most popular digital rendering programs. And of course, I brought this piece in real quick because you can see its similarity across both scenes, right? We have a very abstract, futuristic, and kind of sci-fi inspired theme, if you will. You also have, of course, the abstraction of the cube, and it's also reflected on the ground below. So I want to bring that in real quick and kind of connect it to the original piece that we studied today. But like I said, both works are going to be a digital render, and of course does an amazing job of immersing us within the incredibly realistic scenes of the work before us. So yeah, really hope y'all enjoyed today. Like I said, this is a stunning scene and a cool composition. I think there's no doubt about that. We talked about so many different things, from this grand sense of scale, the kind of ascendant tech or the advanced technology of our cuboid's form here, the abstract render. We talked about texture, color, so many different things we hit on today. I truly hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all enjoyed today's episode, make sure to check out the original artist Mizuri, as well as the original artist that he takes some inspiration from. It's going to be Max Hay, both of which are career artists at this point. So like I said, I really hope y'all enjoyed today, and if y'all did, go check out the original artist. My name's Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.